is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of No Other Pod. I'm Jimmy, along with my good buddy Daniel Kooser. And Dan, we are here for a victory pod over none other than St. Louis City SC.
We're top of the West, baby. We are top of the West.
Yeah, I think that's how it works. Yeah.
That's how it works. When you beat the top, you are the top. It's oh my God, dude. I had the best time. What a crazy night. I understand why Sporting can't market it this way year round. You have a marketing budget, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
But the stuff they put into this night and to get those traveling fans here as well, I've got stories, by the way, and we're going to get all into that. I've got stuff to share with you and the people, just some nutso shit, dude.
That's awesome. I was super bummed. I could not actually be at this game in person because I was visiting family out of town. I was flying back. I was on a plane as this game was happening. So I was seeing tweets, and I saw, 2 days before their St. Louis, anonymous St. Louis accounts, they're like, I just confirmed that 60% of all the tickets in the stadium are going to be St. Louis fans. It's going to be a red night. And there were a lot of St. Louis fans. Credit to them. They traveled. Wasn't 60%. But
listen, when they scored, it damn near sounded like 100%.
It was loud.
It got pretty loud in there.
But this is what's so cool is Sporting really hasn't had this in a rival in their whole existence. I mean, sure, Houston at times. Peter even talked about Houston, Chicago, RSL most recently, probably the closest thing to a rival. Minnesota doesn't count. So it's nice that this is actually developing more than just a marketed rivalry into an actual rivalry.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, it's just a few hours down the road, right? And of course, after the game, you're hearing all these things. Well, we still got them in the standings. And it's like, that doesn't matter. This is a rivalry game. Do you think KU football has ever been like, oh, yeah, we're way better than K-State because we beat them? No, it's a rivalry game. You beat them, but K-State's still going to make a bowl game and you're not.
Sure.
Things like that.
It's the loser's lament when you have to resort to something like that. I've done it when USC football is ranked higher than UCLA, but if we lose to UCLA, I'm like, well, yeah, but how many national championships do you have? And it's like, that doesn't help in that moment. Like, you played and you lost.
It's the thing. Like, when I went to Nashville, was that last year or the year before?
Last year.
We won in great fashion. Felipe Hernandez, hell of a goal. And you heard people saying like, well, we're still up there in the standings. Where are you at? And I'm like, I don't care. We just came into your place and beat you. So suck it.
That might be factually true, but tonight there's one winner.
Yeah.
So
tonight you're going home with the big L, baby.
Yeah, it was very cool. I want to get into all of it. I want to get into the atmosphere. I'm super excited. This sets up a really exciting third round of this match on September 30th in St. Louis.
4 weeks.
Yeah. So pretty cool, pretty exciting. Lots to talk about with this game. Before we get into it, if you have not left us a 5-star rating and review, we would appreciate it. Go to wherever you get your podcasts and leave your reviews. We try to read them all on air if we can, so we would appreciate that. And I just want to give fair warning. I have my dog directly underneath my feet right now. She's not normally in here, but if she barks, I cannot be held responsible.
Can you not hear mine tearing down the house out there? Marissa's outside mowing the lawn, so they have free reign to the house. I could go out there, and shit is just going to be crazy.
Yeah, they've just taken over.
One of them just likes to hump the other one. I'm like, will you stop? What is with this? I hate it, dude. And then the guy, he'll get away, and then he just sits there and humps the air. And I'm like, you gotta stop. This is inappropriate.
Good times. So
love our pets.
We do, even if they drive us crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I couldn't be at this game. I was super bummed. But I want to know what it was like walking into this atmosphere, because it looked like the St. Louis fans got there pretty early, and
yeah,
there were a lot of them. So what was that like?
They got GA, right? So you got to get there early. I mean, if you want a good seat. First of all, on the way there, Marissa gets a text from her friend who has season tickets near the supporter stand.
Oh no.
So it's a secured seat. It's not GA for him. It's a guaranteed seat. He can come at game time. He can come at halftime if he wants, because he's got tickets to that seat. Not this time, buddy. They said, woo, They said, I need to, sorry, what's Nick saying? Is that important that he just texted us?
It's about an ad read.
Okay, cool. It threw me off for a minute. He said that sporting season ticket rep called him or messaged him, email, whatever, and said that his ticket has been upgraded to the Cauldron.
Okay.
I want you to tell me how that's a freaking upgrade, because you're going from a guaranteed seat where you're like, I don't have to rush to get there, but now to the Cauldron, where if I want any kind of seat, I need to rush
2 hours early for this game.
Bro. And I was so mad for him. And I'm like, how are you not going to reach out to your rep and say, all good, can I have a signed Johnny Russell jersey? Something.
You got to give me something.
Consumption voucher, in some way. A couple beers, sporting style gift card. I don't know, something. Sure. Make this right, because that's not an upgrade in my opinion. All due respect to the Cauldron, great atmosphere, but definitely a downgrade monetarily.
I was going to say, I think it actually, a Cauldron ticket would cost less typically than a reserve seating.
That's average like $28 a ticket or something, where his seat's like in the 40-something a seat.
Yeah.
I just started thinking, like, let someone be in my seat when I get there. Let a St. Louis person be in my seat. Guess what? I get there. There were St. Louis people in our seats. So we're like, boom, hit the bricks, baby. And he's like, no, this is GA. And we go, boom, already had our tickets queued up. You're done. You're done. Take a hike.
I don't feel bad for the St. Louis fans, but Sporting should have probably known that, and they should have had like game day staff around there being like, hey, this part is not GA. Because that kind of does suck.
But you get around. It's a single small man at the top of the stairs.
Well, right. That's why.
And he goes, can I see your ticket? He asked me. And so then I asked Marissa and Chris when they were already at their seats. I was going to the bathroom. And I was like, did you guys get asked for your tickets? And they were like, no. And I was like,
it's because you look like a hooligan.
I look like a hooligan. I'm like, I'm going to my seat, bro. And there is a sense of when you're kicking out of an opposing fan, you're like, boom, schadenfreude, baby. Feeling good about this. But there is also a sense of like, damn, like we get there later because we have a secured seat. Mm-hmm. And this guy probably thought, hey, I got a great GA seat right now.
Right.
And now he doesn't have a chance to go find a GA seat because they're taken.
That's where I feel a little bit bad, and I think Sporting's game day staff probably should have had somebody down at the bottom of the stairs too, letting people know, hey, just so you know, these are not GA, these are. So if you want a seat, go sit over there, because that does suck.
The signage is bad too. We have the section right next to the south stand, and it shows, general admission, and then this is this section, and it's like no one really knows.
Not clear.
They need like a rope or something. I don't know how to do it, but also I was tired of being the leader of my row. Because someone comes along and goes, we have seats 6 and 7, and I go, okay, like that's down there. What are you telling me for?
Yeah,
do
you need me to get up? But yeah, it's funny.
I'm not gonna relay your message to them. Go down there. Just wild time. But getting in, of course, security sucks.
Yeah,
people trying to bring in bigger clutches than they can, and it's like, all right, back to your car you go. A lot of St. Louis people, though, kind of cool to see them make that trip and show out. Even better to see them drive home commiserating.
Yeah, it was. I think I read that officially St. Louis had 500 supporters tickets that they brought as part of their official road trip. But clearly there were a lot more than 500 St. Louis fans there, because you could see on TV when I rewatched the game. Obviously, they had a few sections in that corner where the away fans typically are. They were smattering
over the south
throughout the south stand, and then even along, I guess it would be the east stand. There was a number on the east stand, and I saw a pretty good number over by the wall where the trophy paintings are. I couldn't see the west stand on TV. They don't really show that. So
right, there's some. But while we're in it, there's a guy that usually sits in the south stand who is so vocal towards traveling supporters because they're way over there. He'll be flipping them off, doing that up yours thing. We've talked about this before.
Yes.
Well, now he's surrounded by them. And I'm like, I don't see this guy doing that stuff. I really don't. Until a St. Louis guy bumps him, knocks his beer on the floor.
Oh, no.
Accidental. And the guy just just stares at him. And I'm pretty sure this guy was ex-military. I'm just getting context clues by the way he carries himself, the tattoos, the things he wears.
Sure.
It just makes sense. And he's just looking at him. And I'm tapping Marissa. I'm like, we got something brewing over here. Something's about to happen. It's about to pop off, bro. And the St. Louis guy did exactly what you do to diffuse a situation. I'm sorry. He said, I'm sorry. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm sorry. Fixes everything.
Did he offer to buy him a beer?
I don't know if he offered. Nothing popped off, but he came back with a beer. They hugged it out, and I was like, man, they're about to fight. Like, that dude was so mad.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can do is if you accidentally bump into somebody and you knock their food over, they're about to be pissed. You got to, I'm sorry, let me pay for it.
Right. What was it? But then the St. Louis guy sitting behind him handed him a $10 bill and said, actually, here, it was my fault. I bumped you. And I just go, what is this Midwest shit? Would you punch someone in the face? What are we doing? This is Midwest kindness. And I'm like, I want it, dude. I want it.
I told you, when I went to St. Louis for the first game, everybody was very kind to me, and I was wearing my Soccer Capital of America shirt.
I was so riled up, and I got no satisfaction.
It is.
Not to mention, go on.
It is funny because on Twitter, everybody hates each other.
Of
So
course.
if you look at the St. Louis and the SKC fans on Twitter, and you're like, they're going to get there, and they're instantly just going to start punching each other.
It's messed up, dude. Not to mention, I had two St. Louis guys behind us the whole time, and there's just a guy who just had to provide commentary. The guy who thinks he knows absolutely everything about soccer. He's like, oh, this ref is so bad. And I'm like, welcome to soccer, bro. The refs aren't good. Like, what do you mean he's bad? Okay, that's evergreen. And he goes, when four guys in the box are raising their hand, it's a handball. And I was like, is that how it works? If the players are calling for offsides, it's offsides?
No.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. St. Louis fans have a lot of thoughts about the refs after this game.
This shit was happening on the Cauldron end, and he's over here like, that's a foul. And I'm like, you can't see shit, bro. You're on the south end. How can you even see? You don't know who's who.
Yeah. There was I put up a tweet after I landed when it's just like, you know, a gif of like clapping and a happy guy being like, oh yeah, when you land and see Sporting KC won. And then I just kept getting people replying to me, wait till you watch the game, wait till you see the ref, wait till you and I'm just like, y'all are new here. Like, welcome to MLS, welcome to pro. And like the only thing I could think of was the scene from was it The Dark Knight? Or Dark Knight Rises, Bane, when it's like, you think the darkness is your ally? I was born in it. And I'm like, that's how I feel about blaming pro for losses. Like, oh, you're new here. Welcome. We've been doing this for 27 years.
Or that James Franco in a noose, and he's just like, first time.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's what it is, dude. You might get a good referee. You might get a bad one. He had some bad calls for us. I also
both sides, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
It was just bad. And guess what? Sporting outplayed you. And your goalkeeper, amazing.
Alberti's
so good. Legit. But guess what? We got one of those too. And Tim's doing diving saves, full of Superman extension. I turned around to those guys and I go, we got one too.
Yeah.
Like, you're done. You guys had like 2 shots on goal. We had like 8 or something.
Yeah. I'm excited because this game lived up to the hype of what it could be. Especially after that.
6.
6?
We had 6 shots on goal. My bad.
Yeah. Especially after the first game, which obviously didn't end how Sporting wanted. It was 4-0. But if you look at how that game transpired, there was a questionable penalty call. If you want to talk about refs, there's a questionable penalty call that I believe was St. Louis's first goal in that game. And then Kendall McIntosh spilled a goal that he probably shouldn't have spilled. If you look at the expected goals for that game, Sporting actually had more than St. Louis, even though they lost 4-0. So, and you look at what Johnny said last week after the game, and he was like, you know, we have a point to prove with St. Louis coming in. We were embarrassed after we lost 4-0. We have a point to prove with them coming here. And it's not just that. It's fighting for a playoff spot with some of the results as of late in the Western Conference going away that actually is somewhat beneficial for Sporting if they want to make a push for the playoffs. You need to continue to get 3 points, especially these games at home. And it was going to be hard because they're by points the best team in the West. But this is exactly what Sporting needed to do. So
this is huge, dude. See what happens when you don't get gifted goals, when our goalkeeper doesn't kick it right to you on a goal kick or something. Like, you're not as great as you think you are.
Well,
they have great players, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
On their goal, Jake Davis got smoked.
Yes.
But guess what? Then Jake Davis was like, I can do some smoking too. And went and cuts in like that and assisted Polito. I was floored. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There were lots of great moments. Looking forward to talking about all of them. But before we get into the game, we're going to take a break. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about, excuse me, a little bit about DraftKings. Can you believe we've had 7 months without an NFL game? It's crazy, but the good thing is that it's over, and NFL is here. And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a can't-miss offer for Week 1. This week, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL game. DraftKings is hooking everyone up with game day greatness. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day in this September. Check the app to see what you get. Download now and use code KCSN to sign up. New customers can take home $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. That's code KCSN, only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.co/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
Gambling problem? Place more bets.
No, don't do that. It is pretty fun. I mean, back when DraftKings launched in last year, it was last year before football season. Some coworkers and I, we put like $10 in there, made that back, pulled that out. But we've just had some money that we won since then. I put like $1 bets here, $2 bets there. I'm a high roller, so
you sound you're rolling in it, dude. That's crazy. I didn't know if like we were still on the air. I was like, do I have time for a bathroom break right now? And I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm still on screen.
So give me the overall vibe when you walk into the stadium. I imagine that they had more probably on the Mazuma Plaza or whatever than they normally do.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
No, I didn't go over there.
You go over there. But it just felt there were flags in every seat that Sporting had put out. It looked
ours got taken. Someone took our flags, but we went and found some just laying down. And I was like, all right, we're taking this home.
But I mean,
they gave out posters after the game.
Oh, did they really?
That said, Soccer Capital of America. I should have brought it in here to show you. It's kind of a decent autograph poster too, if you ever got to meet players and stuff. But I'm like, they went all in to let St. Louis know, hey, this is what it is. It's just a reminder, hey, we got that podcast to change their name, you know?
It's so funny, and I've said this before, but like this is how rivalries develop organically. Is something like this happens, you don't come up with Dorbecue or whatever weird name before you even play a game. This is how rivalries develop, and it's cool because there's actually a little bit of friction. So
there is friction, dude. You could kind of feel it. They were all over the place, and me being in that corner there, it's like we're pretty engulfed. It felt like when Omaha brought all those people down for that Open Cup game, you know?
Yeah.
But maybe a little more than that.
Yeah.
Not true, sorry, because we got kicked out of our seats for Omaha, and we did get an actual upgrade in tickets for that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
The only thing I can compare it to, and I don't think it was this intense, but was when Chivas came this year for the Leagues Cup game.
Oh, sure.
There was obviously more Chivas fans than there were St. Louis fans, but...
Are you sure?
I mean, it looked like it was like 80% Chivas fans for that game.
Oh, okay.
I think the St. Louis fans were loud, like the Chivas fans were. It just, it looked like there were more. But this is the first regular season league game, I believe, at Children's Mercy Park that hit the true fire marshal max capacity of Children's Mercy Park. I think it's 21,650 people. There have been some playoff games where it's hit that. This is the first actual regular season game where they hit that number.
standing room only. I don't know where people are standing, to be honest. They must just be up on the concourse.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they only have like about 19,000 seats.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a couple thousand more that are just roaming around.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool. The lineup that came out for this game, I was a little bit surprised because based on Peter's comments earlier in the week, I thought Gotti Kinda would be available for this game. He was not available in the lineup. He's still obviously dealing with a little bit of an injury. So we had Felipe Gutierrez slide into the midfield alongside Remy Voltaire and Eric Tommy. Obviously, the front three, Shallowy, Polito, Russell. That's going to be what it is. But this is where I appreciate, when Felipe Gutierrez was re-signed earlier this year, I think maybe some people thought it was a little underwhelming. It's like, oh, okay, we're bringing back another midfielder. That's the one place we don't really need that much help. But especially for a stretch run like this and into the playoffs, I'm sure they brought him back. It was like a couple $100,000 at most because they had to sign him for the max they could sign him for was Courtney Ford's salary. This is where it's great to have another quality player who has starting experience that can just slide in during injury.
Can you imagine working your current job and let's just say you make 70,000 or something and you leave, but then you're like, I really missed that job. I want to go back. And they offer you like 50,000.
Right. They're like, you can come back, but the max we can pay you is the person you're replacing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know what Jimmy makes, but it's public domain if you want to see what Jimmy makes. It's city government. What are you going to
do? The back line.
Hold on. Sorry. Why is everyone so scared to talk about their salaries, by the way? Like, it's just money. Let's just talk about it. Let's be transparent.
I think they should put salary ranges on job descriptions when you're applying. Don't waste your time.
In certain counties, you can literally go type in someone's freaking name.
Yeah.
And like see their home and stuff. Yeah. It's wild.
It's pretty
wild. With secrecy.
The back line, about what we expected. Ndembe and Leibold have kind of been... Leibold's probably the first choice at left back. He's been injured off and on, but Ndembe was admirable this game. The St. Louis lineup is a little bit interesting. Obviously, they did not have Joao Klaus starting. He's been battling an injury for a number of months, although he did come in. There was no Nicholas Giacchini either, which was a little curious because he's probably been one of their better players all game.
Saw a lot of those jerseys out and about.
Giacchini?
Yep.
Yeah, he's been very solid for them. He's probably their MVP this year. But overall, this is a matchup of two pretty decent sides. It was very important, I would have said, if you asked me before this game, how does this need to go for Sporting Kansas City to get a victory? I would have said, score first, score early.
Don't concede first.
Don't concede first because St. Louis, I would have said, if they score first, they're going to pack it in.
I said it to Chris. I said, if they score first, we're in trouble.
It's going to be bad. And, sure enough, in the 22nd minute, and this is one of those calls that St. Louis fans are going to conveniently overlook and just start yelling about all the bad calls. There were some shouts for a foul when Felipe Gutierrez had the ball deep in St. Louis territory. He kind of got bumped from the side, taken down. Alan Polito was right there. He was calling for it.
Ref, man. That ref starts.
And then there's a long ball to Adeniran on St. Louis, and credit to him. It's a hell of a shot. He toasts Jake Davis and then puts it into the far side netting past Timilia. It was a hell of a shot. That put St. Louis up 1-0 in the 22nd minute.
Dude, if y'all went to the KC Current game Friday too, that was bad refereeing as well. Like, it was a weekend full of bad referees at Children's Mercy Park. It was crazy.
It just, I watched this. Do you think it was a foul? Have you seen the replay of it? You probably saw
it was close
on the other side of the field from you.
The referee couldn't decide if he wanted to let people play and let there be some contact because it's a very heated game. It's going to feel like a playoff game almost.
Right.
But then he would call some soft shit. And I'm like, you can't decide what you want to be tonight, buddy. You got to choose a lane.
Yeah.
And stay consistent.
I go back and forth on this call because if you're going to let him play, I don't hate the idea of letting this be a no call because if it had been reversed, I'm like, you know what? If you're going to let him play, and in some cases he did let him play, I don't hate it. My initial thought when I saw the replay of the foul is I was like, well, I don't actually know that that's a foul. It's shoulder to shoulder. Saw another angle. He does step in front of Felipe Gutierrez and trips him that way. So by the letter of the law, it probably is a foul. But again, I'm not going to sit here and complain about it because things happen, and he was letting a lot of things go.
I mean, since that led to a goal, that gets checked on VAR. So
Yes.
the VAR person clearly decided maybe it wasn't worth looking at, or
Correct.
referee overruled him, whatever.
Yeah. They didn't signal further review that I'm aware of. And
Yeah.
so hey, you know what? It's weird how sometimes officiating goes both ways.
You could also argue that maybe they should have had their second goal later on when he was called offsides. It was close.
You could also argue that Sporting should have had a penalty kick in like the 13th minute, because was it Ndenbe who was taken down, and they said it was just outside the box.
It was.
It looked awfully close.
Sorry, there's a Twitter account that puts together these 3D models of soccer
Was it outside?
games, and he said it was a good 6 inches outside the box.
Okay.
This guy puts a lot of time into these Twitter models to determine offsides moments in games.
Yeah.
And he did those 3 spots in the game. It was that. It was their second goal that was called off, and then something else I can't remember.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Oh, Daniel Shallowy. Sorry, everyone thought Shallowy was offside on his assist to Alan Polito on our first goal.
Clearly wasn't.
He wasn't. He was onside. But I could see how you might think he was. These camera angles are crazy, man.
For me, it wasn't even close that he was. I mean, I don't know that one. If you're interested in the account, it's at Offside Modeling. Is what it is. Yeah, Daniel Shallowy is like a solid foot, more than a foot and a half onside. So that's not even close. And then we'll talk about the goal later that St. Louis had called back. But we go down 1-0, 22nd minute. Give me a vibe check in the stadium at that point.
Oh, it sucks, right? It just got loud. They blasted. It got real loud in there. But, you're feeling down because it's like, okay, here we go. We don't do comebacks very well. No one really does. History has shown that the team who scores first has a better probability of winning the game.
Significantly higher chance of winning.
It's just what it is. For us to show that the grunt, the machismo to get this done, man, it was awesome.
And I'm sure St. Louis fans at this point, because you were very close to them, are talking all sorts of shit. Up 1-0.
They're pretty excited, yeah. They are, and I was just yelling at some guy. I was like, it's nighttime. Take your damn sunglasses off. It's absolutely ridiculous.
You could hear on the broadcast the STL chant start ringing out, and it was loud. There were a lot of people there. So
I know. I couldn't hear the Cauldron at all. I'm sure they were loud too, but
I mean, you were right next to the St. Louis fans, so exactly. on the broadcast you could hear the Cauldron and such, but I'm not surprised.
But my watch never truly told me that I was in a decibel warning until we scored.
Do better, St. Louis.
I don't get decibel warnings, dude. I upped it to 100. I think the factory setting is 90 decibels. Yeah. I put it at 100, and I never get the warning at SKC games, but I did that night twice on 2 goals.
I saw a couple people say this. I think Mike Kuhn on Twitter was one person who said this too, where they were saying that I hope this can be almost a wake-up call, if you will, to the club about what the game day atmosphere can be.
Yeah.
Obviously,
security problems though. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, fix security. And obviously not every game is going to be on the level of first game at the stadium with your new rival and whatnot. But
security's always shit.
Well, that's true. But I do think there's something to be said for, if you give SKC fans a reason to come out, they will show up, and they will show up in droves. And
right, you don't see us doing this for Vancouver coming to town, Right.
So help, the play on the field's got to be there. But also, there are ways to get creative and create a game day atmosphere, whether it's flags or giveaways or promos or concerts before or whatnot. Give people a reason, block party around the stadium. Give people a reason to show up and have it be an event that's more than I'm going to watch a mediocre soccer team.
Yeah, they brought the halftime dogs back.
See,
they brought the halftime back.
Did they break the record?
What's that mean?
Well, every time I've seen it, they've been there. They're now they're going to try to break the world record for longest frisbee catch.
Oh, I don't think so now. But that guy has a mean, straight frisbee throw, to throw it powerful and long. And some of these dogs. One thing I didn't like though. The guy swung his dog around holding on to the frisbee, and I don't like that. I was just like, feels like maybe it contorts his body or hurts his jaw. I don't know. I don't like it.
The dog's probably having the time of his life.
Probably, because dogs like that with their adrenaline going, they don't feel pain. I mean, they don't know, but it felt weird at the moment. So, but everything else was cool.
So they score 22 minutes. You're like, this kind of sucks. But 31st minute, you only had to wait 8 minutes. And the response from Sporting was incredible. And this kind of starts with Remy Voltaire kind of breaks what could have been a potential St. Louis counter, finds Alan Pulido in the box. There's a little bit of back and forth. Eric Tommy's shot is blocked. He finds Daniel Shallowy out wide. And then this is such a fantastic little cross, little moment of chemistry between Daniel Shallowy and Alan Pulido. Alan immediately breaks for the far post, holds his run onside, and Shallowy immediately picks his head up, lays it across, perfectly weighted in front of Berkey, behind the defender. Alan taps it in, and you could tell the second that Alan tapped it in, he immediately looked at Daniel, and he started pointing. He was like, that's all you.
I don't know how the keeper doesn't get this. I think just probably the confusion and the lead up to all of this. Like, he was probably everywhere. Like, oh, here comes the shot. Oh, shit, it got blocked. Now the ball's over there. Now it's here. Like, it happened real fast.
Yes. I think he was frozen in place a little bit and had to delay his dive, because I think if you look at it, he's almost expecting Shallowy to go near post off his left foot. So I think he's sitting there covering the near post. I don't think he saw Alan there, and if he did, I think he was hoping the defender should be there. Exactly.
Alan should have been marked. 100%.
So it was a little, excuse me, a little bit of poor defending from St. Louis in that nobody got to Alan. They were a little bit delayed on their defending runs. But again, incredible goal. The vibes had to be much better. It was 8 minutes later after you go down 1-0. Now suddenly it's tied 1-1, and you're thinking maybe we get to halftime level, and it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, you're thinking, let's get there. Tie game, man. Like, this is great. Let's see what we come out with at the end of the half, right? Certainly didn't expect Jake Davis to go full Johnny Russell and, set up a second goal, for God's sakes. It was amazing.
Right. So that's what was wild is 44th minute. At this point, again, you're thinking, let's get to halftime.
Almost
halftime. We're good. If you go down 1-0 and then you can get into the half 1-1, consider it a victory at that point. Jake Davis, obviously, we said he got cooked on that first goal. And
saw it. I was like, Jake's getting burned. That's not.
And then this goal, 44th minute, it's really almost entirely Jake Davis. He does a little give and go, pulls a Johnny Russell, splits the two defenders, but then Peter even called it out in the post game. Usually what Jake does is he'll just hammer it in front of goal and try to send it in as a cross and hope somebody can get there. He's been watching, maybe a little bit of this Inter Miami Lionel Messi, seeing what happens when there's a delayed runner into the box. He pulls it up, finds Alan Pulido with a perfect wide open lane. Alan just slams it home. No chance for Berkey. It's 2-1 going into the half. Again, Alan celebrates, hugs Jake Davis. But if you look at what's my favorite thing about this goal celebration is if you look at Johnny Russell and Daniel Shallowy, as soon as Alan hammers that ball home, Shallowy gives Jake Davis a huge hug, and Johnny's pointing at him and yelling because they know that goal's not possible without Jake Davis.
Because Jake Davis is pretty much an adult child. Like, he's not old, my friend. He's not seasoned. If you told me earlier this season where you were like, Jake Davis is going to be our right back, I'd say, what are you talking about?
Right.
You're out of your damn mind. And it's like, no, I don't want anyone to take the spot from Jake because he's getting pretty comfortable.
There's a part of me that feels a little bit bad for Caden Pierre because he seemed like he was I know he's hurt again, but he seemed like he was the heir apparent to Graham Zusi at right back. And then he got his hamstring injury, couldn't quite feel
back.
He did, and then he re-aggravated it in training. So it's
that sucks.
Yeah. So it is a big bummer. But Jake Davis looks like he might be the guy at right back going forward.
Until Graham Zusi comes back and plays another 3 seasons,
Let's take another quick break. We'll finish the game once we come back, and then lots more to talk about. But we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
Man, I got to tell you, everyone felt this after the game as they're driving home. It feels so much better to drive wherever you live, 30 minutes, an hour away. blasting your music. You just saw a win. You didn't see a crap team on the field. You just beat your rivals, who just so happen to be leading the Western Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Something else you didn't mention, by the way, that I'm not sure you knew about. Before this game started, we had an entire trophy presentation, my friend.
Oh, I did see this on Twitter.
Dude, it was a huge flex. They had past players carrying every trophy from supporters' shields to Open Cups to MLS Cups. It was kind of awesome. I was like, we don't do this ever.
No,
but it was just
in their territory.
Yes, it's like, hey, do you have this? Do you have this trophy? Do you know what this trophy is? Like, right. You don't. You have no idea because you haven't been there.
Yeah, it is funny because there have been some St. Louis fans on Twitter too. They're like, stop telling us about all our trophies. It's our only first season. And it's like, well, okay, but if you're going to come in and talk shit and claim to be the soccer capital of America, you're inviting it. So
I can't wait till they crash out in like the first round of the playoffs. Like, I'm so here for that, dude. I saw a St. Louis SC baby crying, and I got the most schadenfreude. A baby, my friend. I didn't even care.
Coming out of the half, I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about the second half, but there are a couple of moments. Coming out of the half, they made some changes. Sporting made some changes as well. Nemanja Radoja came in. But there was a moment, 2.5 minutes into the second half, where they had a chance to draw a level, and Tim Melia comes up huge. And I think ultimately actually might have ended up being called offside, but I'm going to give Tim Melia credit anyway. Came up huge, huge save. And then it was, in the 50th minute, maybe 51st minute, again, it seemed like they pulled level for a second. Adeniran puts the ball into the back of the net, and
that guy's good.
St. Louis fans are going crazy. The offside flag comes up, and this is where their complaints are, well, if he's offside, then Daniel Shalhoub's offside. Well, no, because if you look at offside modeling, the account that you mentioned, Daniel Shalhoub was almost 1 foot 8 inches onside, so almost 2 full feet onside. And then Adeniran, it's close, but his modeling shows he's almost 4 inches offside. So, and honestly, you could tell pretty easily from the camera angle of Shalhoub that he was very clearly onside. The Adeniran one, whatever they would have called it on the field, they would have had to leave it as that call because the camera was not down the line. You wouldn't have been able to tell is he onside or offside either way. So it's good for us here, called offside.
Those people complaining, also sitting in the south stand. Can't see shit, my friend. I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, this is feels so sweet. I love hearing all this chatter. They're really talking some big game, but it don't mean nothing unless you can turn around in 4 weeks and do it again.
Well, Sporting almost sealed it in like the 72nd minute or whatever. They had 2 chances. There was a breakaway. Daniel Shalhoub had a couple chances, and unfortunately, this was not a good effort on either attempt by Daniel Shalhoub. Berkey was way out of his net. Shalhoub just kind of kicks it right into him, and he gets a second chance, and that's another good save by Berkey.
So frustrating.
And then immediately on the corner following that, Johnny Russell had a chance where he probably should have put it away, and Berkey again came up huge.
But he's a great player. Great. Yeah, that's why he's there as DP on there.
Yeah.
But you're not even talking about that sequence right now. It's Eric Tommy streaming down the right side.
Oh, yeah, it was gorgeous.
Bringing defenders towards him. You're just pointing at Daniel Shalhoub.
Yep.
You see Daniel making that back post run.
Yep.
Eric Tommy curves that over there.
Oh, it's
perfectly.
Beautiful.
And I'm thinking, hit it first time, Daniel. Hit it first time.
Mm-hmm.
He settles it. Then there's Allen. He lays it off to Allen. I'm like, hit it first time, Allen. Hit it first time. He settles it.
Yeah.
Gets it back to Daniel. I'm like, God damn it. We just took our time.
Yeah.
Why not just blast it? Just try.
Gave Berkey too much time to close down in the first attempt, and then gave the defenders too much time to settle up and Berkey to get in position again for the second attempt.
You know what that does to our blood pressure if you just score right there? If you just score, the rest of the game, we're kind of chill. But no, you did it, and now we're just, oh, my God.
Now you have 20 more minutes or 30 more minutes of,
yes.
Because there's, 7 minutes of stoppage time?
7 minutes of stoppage, giving us hypertension. It's unbelievable, dude. 6 minutes, actually. There's 6 minutes.
6 minutes. It felt like, I think they let it go.
They did go another. You're right.
Sporting held on, and that's huge because they have not done that before. They give up in the last 10 minutes. They held on, 2-1. Sporting beat St. Louis City for the first time, and climbing up those standings a little bit.
Listen, something we don't get to do very often is kill a game. We're not usually in that situation where we can walk to take throw-ins. Tim Melia can have a goal kick over here on this side of the box, but he wants to go take it over on this side of the box.
Yeah.
People behind us losing their mind. And I'm just like, take your time, Tim. Take your time, baby. They would do the same thing.
100%.
It's the game. And I'm just surprised that we knew to do that, because Peter has mentioned that in interviews before.
Yeah.
Peter has said, like, other teams do this. I don't know why we don't do this.
Yes.
Logan and Denbei. Oh, before you move on.
Okay.
You're gonna lose it. Logan and Denbei got injured off the field. He's down holding an injury. When the ref wasn't looking, he rolled on the field.
Brilliant.
Rolled on the field. I lost it. I was like, remember to mention this to Jimmy. Remember to mention it. He was right in front of us, bro. He just goes, zoop.
He's learned some things from those Liga MX teams they've played.
Absolutely, dude. You got to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
You got to play it. And Tim getting his yellow card, everyone's like, yeah, yellow card. It's like, Tim don't give a shit.
No, that's what you do. You do that 10 out of 10 times if it'll help you get 3 points.
You eat a yellow, and if he gets a few more, then he gets a week off.
Right.
Guess what? We got 2 pretty good goalkeepers waiting to come on.
It's just, oh my God, it's great. You can read the quotes from Peter, from Johnny online. Even Peter was like, yeah, the first thing was this is 3 points because we need to climb up the standings. But even Peter was like, but it's a little bit more than just 3 points.
It is. And my main takeaway from this is that some of our players showed attitude, showed aggressiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Shallowy fully pushed a man in the back.
Yeah.
And everyone was losing their mind. I was just like, absolutely. Hell yes, dude. Play with some freaking force.
Yeah. Johnny said that he thinks this was actually the most physical game they've played all year, which he's like, it's good. It's a rivalry. This is what it should be. He was like, I don't think this was a dirty game by any means. I think it was a physical game.
Everyone stayed significantly healthy. Like, yeah. I mean, Johnny came off a little early, probably just because he was kind of battling the little ankle thing, right?
Right.
But that's fine, man. Kyrie came on and gave a crazy spark.
Well, and
so physical and good.
Peter called out Kyrie specifically because, Kyrie's gotten a lot of flack from a lot of the fan base, and Peter made sure that he called out Kyrie's performance because he said...
in a good way.
Yeah,
shout out. Call out sounds negative. I don't know.
Yeah, no, he shouted him out. He was talking about how they're only up by 1 goal, and all of a sudden they get a free kick, and they're just pushing everybody, and they're hoping for it. He said, I thought we managed those situations really well. Kyrie Shelton was brave in a couple of those situations down the stretch for us.
He was beating him on the back post, man, but just couldn't, he has a finishing problem. He sometimes has a dribbling problem, but his aggressiveness and speed is not a problem.
Yeah. So, Sporting win. And now we're climbing.
I love it.
We're climbing back up the standings. If you look,
I wish we had the week off to just enjoy this, but we got to turn around and play again. I'm like, damn, I want to revel in this.
We do. If you look at it now, Sporting are sitting at 32 points. 9th place Dallas, the last playoff team, has 34 points. And the bigger thing that's happening, though, those games in hand are starting to shrink. Other teams are catching up. Now, where some teams had 2-3 games in hand on Sporting Kansas City, every single team that's above SKC at most has only 1 game in hand. And there's actually a team now, Seattle, who have played more games than Sporting, but they're way up the standings. We're not going to catch them. But Minnesota, San Jose, Dallas, those are all teams that Sporting's within 4 points of.
And how many games do you have against Minnesota this next month or so?
2 more.
2.
So this is a huge opportunity for Sporting Kansas City to be able to make up some ground.
You take wins from Minnesota, 12-point jump like that. Oh my God!
Mm-hmm. There's a real opportunity here for Sporting Kansas City to make up some serious ground. I do just have to say, Zach Cobb, who used to, I think, run the Cauldron Twitter account, he's a Sporting fan. If you go look at his Twitter timeline, he's just been fighting with St. Louis fans for the last 2 days, and it's hilarious.
I know.
I don't think they realize that he's just trolling them the entire time and just getting the reactions exactly what he wants. But I did mention, because he pointed out that St. Louis has scored 50 goals to 33.5 expected goals. And I just commented, St. Louis fans will learn next year what Austin fans learned this year, that vastly overperforming all of your measurable analytics is not sustainable year over year. And boy, you would think I threatened their firstborn child or something.
Did you get messages?
Oh, they're coming for me. And it's hilarious. You know, my favorite was, no, XG is only good for players who have already played in the league and teams who have already played in the league. It doesn't count for St. Louis because we haven't played. And I'm like, shut up. You don't even know what you're talking about. You don't know what it is, but they're coming up with any reason to say we're just different. We're built different.
Oh my God, dude.
I'm enjoying
one more game against them. No, it's the tiebreaker, right? But then if we lose this tiebreaker, then we get the thrill of saying like, well, it was an away game. You know, you lose away games.
Sure.
But we'd lose this one, buddy. You and I both said like, this is good.
We're not confident. But before we go down to St. Louis in a few weeks, we first travel down to Florida to play Inter Miami. Now, Inter Miami has been on an absolute tear because
they've been a little messy.
Don't know if you've heard, Lionel Messi's now playing for them, and they just defeated LAFC in Los Angeles 3-1.
Who is that? If you've turned on ESPN ever,
right.
This man is everywhere.
And at the LAFC game, there was like every single celebrity that could possibly be there was there, and it was all over MLS Twitter and everything.
Blue Beetle was there.
But we traveled down to Miami to play them, and they're going to be significantly shorthanded. Lionel Messi will not be there. Joseph Martinez will not be there. Drake Callender will not be there. Kremeshi will not be there. They're like a significant portion of their team will not be there due to international.
Their starting lineup, right? All those people start, don't they? Yes.
I think Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets may still be there, but without Lionel Messi to finish, we'll see what happens. Without Messi, they're a lot closer to the team that was one of the worst teams in the history of the league than what they are now. So
you have to take advantage, dude. You got to go down there and kill them.
I would say, obviously, bare minimum a draw, but this is a real opportunity to go down there and get the full 3 points.
Get some road points, man. We need it.
Mm-hmm.
Every game needs to be a win, and the team knows this.
Yeah.
And I bet among the locker room, the players really wanted to play against Messi. You do. Maybe Johnny was like, oh, man, I really want to see if we could do a jersey swap, captains,
Sure.
But now you're like, well, their people are gone. So let's go murder. Let's go get this done.
Yeah, and they'll probably have a chance to play him next year, most likely. Obviously, you never know what's going to happen, but
maybe at home.
I would guarantee that any of the players, if you would say, would you rather play against Messi, have a chance to lose, miss the playoffs, and maybe swap the jersey, or get 3 points and have a shot at the playoffs? They're going to say they want 3 points and the shot at the playoffs.
100%.
So, and I don't really care that it's
feeling good.
I don't care that it's not Miami at their full strength. I don't care if we're going to get the B team, C team, whatever at this point. Give me the 3 points. We'll take it. And then we have to fly to Minnesota the next week. So this is a little mini road trip. These 3 points are going to be huge. I think you're actually going to be at the game, right?
I'll be at the Miami game, yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to go down there to their erector set of a stadium that they have built right now. And
another stadium on the list. And I'll see if I can grab a pink scarf or something.
Yeah. Should be pretty cool. I've heard parking around there is terrible.
So. Our hotel's walkable. So might do that or
Lauderdale
lift. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I'm feeling pretty decent about this game. I don't think I can sit here and confidently predict a win per se, but I feel like Sporting has a good opportunity to go into this game and get certainly a result, if not the full 3 points.
Agreed. But I don't want to feel too confident, just like I don't want the players to be too confident. I want them to focus up, have a safe trip down there, good 3-hour flight or something like that, and get this W and come back, man, and start prepping for Minnesota because Minnesota's a good team.
Yes, absolutely. And then, like you said, Miami, then Minnesota. Then we got a couple home games, Nashville and Houston, before St. Louis, Salt Lake, and finishing back home with with Minnesota. So this is a big stretch, and teams are going to start playing more games. Those games in hand, those are going to disappear over the next couple of weeks. Weirdly, next weekend there's not a lot of teams playing because it's another international break. So We might get another game in hand for a couple of weeks, and then, it's going to start getting a lot closer. So I'm really looking forward to this final stretch of Sporting KC season. They're giving us something to pay attention to. They're giving us something to root for, and they're giving us hope, which if you would have asked in the first 10 games of this season is certainly not something that many Sporting fans would have thought we'd have at this moment.
Yeah.
So
Hope is there, man. Let's not squander it. Let's get this done.
yeah, absolutely. Do you have any other final thoughts about the experience with St. Louis or what this rivalry could be or anything or just anything Sporting related before we call it good this week?
No, man. Nothing at all. Call it.
Yeah. I'm glad that we have this rivalry now in the league. It's very fun. I think it will continue to grow and develop. I'm glad that there's some organic banter that's happening. I'm very excited for St. Louis fans to learn what it's like to be in this league, and that, yeah, you know what? It's not as easy as you thought it was coming in and then suddenly getting, crazy goals just gifted to you, and now it's catching up to you. It's not as sustainable as you thought it was. So
yeah, man. You hear those Labor Day tornado sirens out there?
I can't hear it, but
oh, you can't. Hey, that's good. Look at you, microphone. Good job, buddy.
Microphone's doing well.
Hell yeah.
Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for sticking with us through what was a little bit rough of the start of the season, but glad that we're here coming down the home stretch with playoffs in sight, and Sporting reaching out for them, trying to grab them, and they just might do it. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at NoOtherPod, at Dan Kooser, at JCMac03. Send us an email, nootherpod@gmail.com. Leave us that 5-star rating and review. Check us out on KCSN Soccer on YouTube or the KCSN app. But until next time, he's Dan. I'm Jimmy. We'll catch y'all later. See ya.
Schadenfreude, baby.